Good afternoon, folks. My name is Dave, and I am the Casual Gamer. Today we're going to be playing through some Terraria, but this is modded Terraria using the N Terraria mod, which adds classes, races, and quests to the game, so turning it very much so into an RPG. So I think my plan for this one is I'm going to try to get started as a Mage class. I'm starting out as the Demon race, which has a higher base stats in your Charisma, Wisdom, and Intelligence, which are the three main things you need for casting. So as you can see here, Intelligence helps with your magic damage, mana cost, and immunity rate, as well as a few other things. Now, as you can see by the little fireworks effect, I actually just leveled up. And apparently the Demon race gets to start with flight, so that is going to be really awesome. Should make things just a little easier for us to get around. Wow. That is actually really awesome. I've played around a little bit with this mod, but I haven't played too much yet, so I'm not super experienced in the way everything works. But for now we have to work on some of our basic quests. The main one we have is the Legend Terraria, which right now is just killing slimes. Well, you can see we can pick up a few more. And all the NPCs in this game will add quests for us to complete as we go along. First, you can see here we actually have access to some status points to make us stronger. Now, my hopeful goal is to actually go more of the summon route. So that's going to be based more around charisma. And let's see here, intelligence. But I'm going to up all three just to make life a little bit easier. And leveled up again. Now, in this system you do have job. Wow, I am fantastic at this game already. As you can see, you spawn as a little ghost. You can kind of float around through walls and explore a little bit just to see what's going on. But that's about it. Probably my own fault for standing still with enemies around, but hey. That's why I'm the casual gamer and not the pro gamer, because of little mistakes like that. We're just going to run around, do a little exploring here just to see what's going on. Do the usual Terraria, get the lay of the land. So you can see we got our snow biome just off to the east. We'll go see just what the next biome to the west is. I have spawned this in as a medium-sized world. So just so that there's a little bit more room for us to expand, grow, and I'm not, right next door in 30 seconds to the Crimson, as this is a Crimson-based world as opposed to the Corruption. For those of you new to Terraria, there are two different infections, if you want to call them that, for the world. One is Corruption, which is a purple theming and tint to it. The other one is the Crimson, which is obviously it's a red, based on the name. They function almost identically with just minor variation in the monsters that you'll fight and the bosses that you'll fight for those respective biomes. Otherwise, in terms of the game, they are completely interchangeable. The only real difference is if you want to get gear that is specific to one or the other, you'll have to create more worlds. Just doing the usual cutting down of trees to get us started. So that hopefully eventually we can get ourselves out of this little pit and give the guide a proper home. You can see we still need to kill a few green slimes. And the interesting thing with this is you get experience with everything you do. So cutting down trees, breaking logs. It's not just killing enemies. I've gotten a lot of levels just by breaking a random pot from exploring, which is rather entertaining when you get right down to it. Right now I gotta work towards just getting enough of the basic supplies to start a hut, and figuring out what I need to start crafting. A little bit down the road, I should be able to craft a magic wand, which is the basic starting magic weapon. Wow, words are apparently really hard today. So we're just gonna continue breaking down some trees, wait for time to pass. We definitely have to go check out what's in some of these pots, as there seems to be quite a few just off to the edge of my screen here. And I really should go and kill those last couple of slimes, but slimes are a plentiful enemy, especially in the forest. So I'm not going to worry about it too much right now. So let's finish off this tree, and off we go. I think I see there's a nice little surface chest there for us. So that's a really nice lucky find. Let's see what we got. We got the climbing claws already. That's great, and they're intrepid. So these might be useful. Lesser healing potions, shine potions, and some torches. That's actually not a bad little find for us. Not the end-all be-all of perfection, but hey, any chest that you can easily find in this game on the without having to do much work is great. Ooh. Just kind of getting used to how good the light is for a demon. That is actually really awesome. Do a little spelunking here. Found ourselves another chest. Let's see what else we got. More climbing claws. More grenades, iron bars, arrows, a couple of recall potions, some night owl potions. Those will be really handy once we get towards the night. Make it just a little bit easier to see what's coming for us. As demon eyes do spawn. We also get a lot of bats that spawn at night with this mod, which can be a little bit tougher to take down just because they're hard to see. I'm gonna keep doing a little bit of spelunking here. There's a nice drop off there. I don't want to quite go down there yet, but we will have to remember that this is here. Nice big blue slime coming for us. Let's see if we can see how easy he is to take out. Apparently he's going to be a little nastier because he's a little bigger, and our HP is not great at the moment, as I'm not going to be focusing too heavily on physical stats. My goal is well, I shouldn't say my goal, but the way I'm hoping to do this is it's going to be just a lot of magic stats, and probably do something a little bit closer to a glass cannon build. So, for those of you who don't know what a glass cannon is, it just means that I'm going to do a lot of damage, but I sure as heck ain't going to be able to take any. Found ourselves a living wood tree here, which generally speaking will have a little room partway down here that has a living wood chest in it. It should hopefully have some form of loot. There's usually things like a living wood wand, things like that. So you can see we got some torches, recall potions, healing potions, some silver bars, rope, a living wood wand, and a leaf wand. Nothing too spectacular, but it'll all be useful. The living wood and leaf wands, they're more decorative items than they are anything else. At least as far as I know. There's probably some more that I don't know about this game, but at least in my current experience. I do play another series of this where I actually play through with my fiance, where we're playing through modded with the, I can't even remember the name of it now. I think it's the Terraria Mod, and a few other mods, just for some fun. We're just about through the vanilla content now with the Moon Lord, and actually at the point where we have to start farming him for the. Oh, I can't even remember the name of the ore he drops, but we have to start farming him now. As you can see, we finished off most of our quests. We have time to head back to home. I'm not going to bother with the recall potions. I want to save those more for when I'm going spelunking. We definitely have lots of skill points to spend fairly soon, so we'll do that once we're a little bit more safe from the dangers outside, just to avoid any mishaps, like with that slime a few minutes ago. So we now got ourselves some wood. We're just gonna try to level out a little bit of the terrain here. If I recollect, the mage, there's the way to get the mage class is done through an NPC test. So I have to wait until I find that NPC, and I'm not sure which one it is. So we're just gonna work on probably building ourselves some efficient NPC housing, if you will. For some of you, that's gonna look more like a jail cell. But we better go save the guide here, as he's seems to be a little stupid and won't fight back. You can see we got a whole bunch of new quests now. For instance, we have the daily quest of Stupid Race. It is just a race over to the dungeon, talk to the old man, and run back. Gotta make sure you don't do it at night, or you're gonna be fighting Skeletron well before you're prepared for it. There's not much point in that. But there's a whole bunch of other ones, including 2 of the class quests, one for Ranger and one for Fighter, which is great if you want to go with either one of those routes. So we're going to work our way there eventually. Now we play with the Ranger a little bit, doing it with throwing weapons to start out with, and you definitely get very, very, very damaging attacks very early, which is quite nice. And as for the melee, it's good, but I find just the gameplay is just a little bit generic, and I also tend to favor ranged and caster type characters in various RPGs I play, both tabletop and digital. Though I am also known to be quite the altaholic, which again, for those of you who don't know that term, just references the fact that I tend to play different characters all the time. I never just stick with one main character. To me, the fun is just getting to play and experience everything, not in try to have the most powerful, beefy class, or even follow the typical norms, which is also something I will try to do within this series. Just because I would rather do these kinds of things like these recordings for fun, not necessarily to show you the best way to do things. Because I find if I'm not having fun, then I'm gonna stop doing this, and I would much rather give you guys something to look at every day, as opposed to you guys having to wait months and months while I try to find the joy of gaming again. Get some walls, just get our first basic hut set up. We'll see if 168 walls be enough. It probably won't, but we'll see. You probably notice how easily I'm building these walls. The nice thing with Terraria is it has a smart cursor option. So if you just hit your control button, you don't have to hold it. It's just a toggle. It will allow for smart cursor, which in some situations it's very handy. In other situations it's really annoying. For doing walls, it's fantastic because it'll just really quickly place the walls for whatever your reach is, which makes things very easy. Unfortunately, I was right. 168 is not quite enough yet, so build a few more walls, finish this first little enclosure for ourselves, which will also give our guide a nice place to hang out. And once we get through the first night, we'll probably go harvest some more wood, kill some more critters, and continue on our merry way. But the big thing that I really want to find tonight, hopefully, is a mana star. Or sorry, not mana star, a fallen star. That is how I'm going to create the basic mage weapon. There we go, we got our first little hut built. So the smart cursor, disabled, now I can kind of place things manually. But if you hold shift, you can also get the smart kind of a contextual cursor. And that'll kind of change to an item within your inventory that is useful for the block you're pointing at. So you can see as I'm pointing within range, my pickaxe shows up on the dirt to help me dig. But if I go up to the walls, it'll flick over to the torch. So that makes things really nice. It's also great when you're exploring, is if you keep your mouse somewhere kind of off the ground, you can hold shift to hold the torch out and light your path. But if you see an enemy, you can quickly let go. And as long as you can keep your sight on them, you can quickly flick back to your sword and attack, or whatever your given weapon is. Hopefully for me, doing doing a caster and focusing especially on a summoner, I'm hoping that eventually I can just walk around and my minions will do all the work for me, with me being more of their backup and buff as opposed to the primary damage dealer. So you can see there's a few new items that N Terraria adds to the start. One of them being a potato launcher and a wooden shield. Both are quite nice. But I'm not going to worry about them right now. You can also see all the basic things like a wooden bow, wooden armor, a few other things. You can hear that sound, that there is a shooting star nearby, so I definitely want to run out and grab that. So I believe that is what I need. I will find out shortly, though, And I'm sure some of you are already seeing this and yelling at me, telling me, no, 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 what am I doing? We'll get there. When I say we, I mean I'll get there eventually. See, there's some zombies. There's even a bit of bat floating around that we have to deal with at some point. I'm going to try not to die here, but no guarantees. You can see that bat can be very tricky to find on a dark screen. They're quite small and they tend to move around quite a bit. One thing we haven't seen yet is a pop-up event. So this mod pack is heavily influenced by Guild Wars 2, I find, in the way its world events spawn. It'll tell you once up, you can run over, hang out in the area, take care of the event. And once it's complete, you'll get an award based on how much you give that event. So in multiplayer, the more you contribute, the better your rewards will be. It has the same gold, silver, and bronze tiers. So there we go. We picked up the 1 star we need to get our magic stick. Let's see what this does. Oh. Fires out some magic. It only uses two mana, which is really nice. We definitely gotta spend our points here. Lots of points to use up. Let's see what we can do. There we go. So we definitely want to put some points in wisdom. So you can see down here, holding control down, we'll put 5 points in. Holding shift, we'll put 10 points in. So if you bank yourself a lot of levels, it can be a really quick way to distribute your points for you. So I definitely gotta put some points in wisdom to get more mana regen, and to lower the cost. Right now we don't have any summons, so I'm not too worried about the charisma, as it's primarily for summon damage and maximum summons. We'll get there eventually, but for now I really want to focus on wisdom and intelligence. I'm also going to put just a couple of points into my vitality, just to help our survivability a little bit. So you can see it actually, the event just popped up for us in Company House. It is a bat attack, so the whole point of this is we go outside and kill a few bats. Let's go see what we can do with our new magic weapon. We got 56 mana. Let's see how well that lasts for us. There we go. So you can see just to the left there that there's this little information about it. Fortunately, because we're out of the area, it wasn't really getting too much in the way of contribution, but it looks like it's still tracked a little bit, just because I've been killing bats. And I've got a contribution at 7 points, and once things end in 6 minutes, that will tally up, and we'll get some form of a reward for it. Keep killing our zombie friends, picking up some mana stars. As you can see, I'm getting quite low on health, which is not good. Luckily, I have dodge some bats here, because I'm still trying to figure out how this weapon works. Okay, so it seems like I can't aim it, it just shoots an arc in front of me. So that'll be really good to know that I can't take on aerial foes. I have to be generally in some kind of a line to them. But that's alright. Hopefully this thing's improved. We'll get a better one. A better magic weapon. Once we find the dungeon, we'll probably do a quick little delve in, just to see if we can find the Water Bolt spell. It's a really nice, powerful spell to find, especially early in the game. One thing I do find with this mod is your damage scales very, very quickly. Early on in the game, with the range build, I think bows were already capable of doing 120, 130 damage each. And that was before factoring in your arrows, and that's all thanks to your stats. So you can imagine getting a hold of some ranged weapons early on can be quite damaging. My favorite was the fact that the mini shark is actually available for sale very early on. I was doing the ranger class quest, gives you the flint. I believe it's the flintlock pistol. Because that's a firearm, you get the arms dealer NPC to your house very early on. He sells the mini shark for 35 gold pieces. So for those of you who don't know, the Mini Shark is a very, very, very fast firearm weapon, and each hit does 50 damage. So there's a lot of damage to be had with that. It can chew through pretty much every enemy, every enemy you can find pre-hard mode, and even the bosses won't be too much of an issue until you start doing without some dodging. So we're getting through our first night, taking out lots of bats, leveling ourselves up nicely. I just gotta keep working on leveling up, building out the house so we can get more NPCs in. And as we get through all that, we can slowly start to advance. I gotta go talk to the guide at some point, but it looks like he died on us. So we will have to wait for him to respawn in the daytime before we can turn in most of our quests. You can see this is essentially the night. We found ourselves another bat attack. I'm actually going to leave the area for this one. I just don't feel like dealing with it. Oh, but there's a magic star over there, so let's deal with that first. Alright, off we go. Oh, see? Could not see that bat. Luckily it's becoming more and more daylight. Oh, it dropped a depth meter for us. That's handy. That'll make that already starts making life a little bit easier. Okay, we do a little bit of flying and dodging. Ooh. Gotta get some health back. Ooh. Luckily, Terraria has a nice hotkey for your health potions. We just picked up a godly weapon. I'll have to stop and look at that when I get a second. Our first demon eyes of the night. It's quite annoying because the ranger tests require you to kill demon eyes. And I remember when I first went through this, I got it right at the end of the night, and I got 2 demon eyes down. The next night, I got 0 demon eyes spawning. I actually had to wait another couple of nights to get any level of spawn that was usable. Alright, luckily enough, we're getting there. So I'm gonna show this off as soon as I get a safe point here. And we're going to show up because you also have class levels. Your base class is a Terrarian. That is before you get your given class, before you get the class that you go after. So we're just going to lock ourselves inside briefly so we can take a look at our levels a little bit more. Alright. Let's see what we got here. So we got 14 points to spend. Beautiful. I'm gonna actually put a few points into charisma now. Yeah, I think we're gonna put 5 points in charisma. We're gonna put, let's do 5 points in wisdom, 2 points in vitality, 2 points in intelligence. We're going to kind of spread things out a little bit just to give ourselves hopefully a little bit better survivability. Got a few zombies still kind of chilling out down there as they haven't quite run away yet. One thing you have to watch out for is these grave markers, as most undead enemies drop them. And if you get too many of them in an area or an area you control, it becomes a graveyard biome, which is something new added by N Terraria. It has an increased level and increased spawns of undead, including daytime spawning of undead enemies. So as I was trying to show off is the class system. So you can see I've got 8 points to spend as I'm a level 9 Terrarian. As you start out at level 1, of course. So I'm going to put my points into my basic abilities. So as you can see, it teaches you the basic things about survival on this dangerous land. Every level increases my base level cap by 10%. So you want to make sure you do this, or else you may hit a level wall. And as you go, you're also going to learn more skills. You see, some of them are all blocked out. I can't get them yet because my basic abilities have to be higher, but I have unlocked first aid. So we can put this up in one of our 4 skill slots up here, and it's just a static ability. It heals us for the price of mana. and 5, and now I've got the ability of Demon Scythe. This is a class-specific ability. This is one that comes with the Demon. I know these skeletons actually will throw a bone at the cost of their own health. Alright, so those are our now 9 points. I forgot there was already 1 in basic abilities for starting out. So let's see what these two bad boys do. I have to go see if I can take some damage from a couple of slimes here, and we'll show this off. There we go. Take a few points of damage. So now if I toggle my healing skill, that's just on with F1. See the little icon show up, and boom! I've got a little bit of health back. You can keep doing it. It just gives us 5 health. It's nothing too crazy, and it's on a small cooldown. But you know, it's just maybe that little bit of a bonus healing, especially if you are a melee character. It can be really helpful to have that. In Demon Scythe, let's see what this does. F2. Okay, so it's actually the same as just casting the spell. Demon Scythe. So that's really interesting. It kind of gives us an on cooldown version of the spell for a lot better, for a much better price. Apparently the merchants just joined us as we had a vacant house. So we can check this out. So he offers a class, the Merchant class. Haven't delved into that one yet, but I'll probably look into it. And then they've got normal, they stole my hooks. And a little bit of story here. And he went, go gather some plants to sell them for a small price, sure. And he saw a bunch of slimes eating hooks. So now he wants us to go take out some slimes for him to bring him back all the hooks that we find. Also got the daily of give me shackles. It means we have to go and find a shackle. I don't believe we've found one just yet, but I haven't dug through my inventory for a little while. Oh, we've actually got 2 depth meters, so that's really nice. We can put one on because it gives our stats a little boost. That's what we're gonna have to wait for. And there's that chain knife that we found, the godly chain knife. That'd be great if we were focusing melee, but we're not, so we'll just hold on to it, or we may sell it later, just to try to bring ourselves a little bit more coin in, to be able to buy some more useful things. Unfortunately, it looks like our housing situation is terrible because we lost the guide, and so the merchants moved in, so we're gonna have to redo our housing situation, or else we're not gonna be able to get our guide back to turn in anything. So I think I'm going to work on building kind of the standard NPC efficient housing, aka prisons. It's not the most ethical way to house them, but it's a very efficient way, as NPCs need at least 30 spaces, 30 available spaces, a table, a workbench, like a table and a chair, a light source, and some form of a door. This method, it kind of takes a cheap little advantage of the way some of these things work in order to give you very, very tight-knit housing quarters. 4, 5, 6. Looks like we got 7 high. So we're gonna go 8, 9, 10, 11. As we want to make sure that we have 10 tall space in here. 2, 3, 4, and that's gonna be our 3 wide. And as you can see, we're just going to kind of plot this out a little bit with what we have. Of course, we do also have to get in there and wall it in, light it up. But that we will all tackle in its due time. Right now, I just want to get the basic laid out. You can see I miscounted there, but we'll fix that briefly. Apparently, I decided my pickaxe wasn't as useful as my magic wand, which was quite a silly decision. Alright, so I think we're going to finish this up, and then we're going to wrap up the episode here for the day. And when we come back next time, I will hopefully have this housing finished, and we might have even had a couple more NPCs moved in. To get a couple of them, I do actually have to go do a little bit of exploring underground, because I believe to get the nurse, you have to, in base Terraria, have more than your starting health, which is, so find at least 1 heart crystal. I'm not sure how that's coded in with N Terraria, as I have not unlocked her yet, but we will find out in due time. So you can see there's our baseline. You can see just with the width of our house, we've given ourselves enough space for looks like 10 or 11 NPCs, so that'll actually hold us off right through until we get into hard mode, and even maybe a little bit beyond, which luckily enough will be nice and easy to expand this all out. Anyway, that's going to be everything for today. When you come back next time, I will show you what we've gone through, and hopefully we'll have our friend the guide back. My name is Dave, and this was Casual Gaming.